Welcome to Getting Back Up, where grief meets growth.
Two men, two fathers, and one shared journey of rebuilding.
We're talking about life after cancer, love, loss, and everything no one tells you.
Well, let's get into it.
Hey folks, this is David McLean. You're here listening to Getting Back Up, Finding Life After Death podcast with my buddy
Jamal Jones.
Jamal Jones. Yeah.
And we're taking another page in this journey, another chapter.
Yeah.
As we progress through this process of getting back up. And you know, the previous episodes we spent talking about our experience the day after, or the moments after, and then how we told our children. And today we're going to spend time talking about how we celebrated the lives, right, of our late wives. But I think equally important is how we navigated what is really this rite of passage into being a single father, right? Yeah. Carrying the torch of the family solo.
Right. Right. And
at least for a while.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then I think it's jumping to this. And that's, I think, why we're underscoring this idea of celebration of life, because it marks the way the person lived, not the occasion of death. Yeah. And that's very important. Funeral, memorial, whatever it is, I think it really is about how that person lived life. So in saying that, here is this service, you're asked to do so much.
Right.
You're to perform, maybe speak, and all while you're still grieving as well.
Yeah.
So it all will work out, but I think it's important to hear what the process will be, especially this is that period where your late wife has just passed, or your wife has now become your late wife. And now it's this period of planning.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you've probably had a week, depending on your process, you know, of family flooding the house, and, you know, everybody's walking around, and the food train has started officially. And, you know, you have kind of this flood of family, this flood of support coming in to help you through this. All the you know, the ladies who are late wives rallied around us because they figured that we would need help, or that they didn't trust us.
And you can't do it all. And that's where you have to rely on others. You simply can't do it all. Yeah. And you do need to lean on others. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be right. Yeah. I think that's the way to think about it.
I remember, and it was the interesting part, right? To this for me goes back to how we started this, talking about these two perspectives of relationships. One, mine, which had its challenges, a lot of challenges, and Dave's, who didn't, right? All marriages have their challenges, but we stayed in there. Yeah, you stayed in the game. Yeah. And I think that's where, like, this is now also where these things start presenting themselves. Yeah. But I think the funnier part is, you know, like we talked about this previously, which was like, you know, those few days after, when you're starting to navigate the room, navigate your home by yourself, and, you know, you're kind of digesting all these next steps in your head. For me, one of the first experiences walking into our closet and realizing, of which she had 80 to 90% of it.
There's no we in there, Jamal. Yeah. It's hers.
It's hers. Yeah.
So you have a little hanging space and some drawers. That's about it.
That's it.
It's storage for her.
Yeah.
So we know that experience. We both, because we shared and bonded essentially over this idea of the preparation for that service. Man, I'll tell you, both of our wives, clothes horses.
Yeah.
I mean, when I went in there, man, all the different closets, and we were in an apartment at this time because we had moved to a community. We were working on buying this house, and we'll save as much as we can and then move into this house and whatever. And I just remember there were not only every nook and cranny of that house, not fully, but that's the visual I always get. And as you tell the stories, it seems like there's more and more nooks and crannies filled with clothes and shoes in particular and whatever. But when I went in there, man, there were clothes clearly in full to the brim in her closet. Most of mine.
Yeah.
Under the bed. Okay. Shoes, clothes that still had tags on them and whatever. And Jamal, we were in this tiny, tiny postage stamp apartment for the most part. With the two other kids, they had their own room, we had our room.
Right. Because you guys were in the process of buying a home.
Exactly.
Right.
And we had storage closets in the building. I went, as we're saying, clearing out process. There were just shoes and boxes that were untouched, and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, brother, I think 300 pair count of shoes at
easily.
the end of the day, where I got one of my neighbors, Candace.
Yeah.
She's about the same size as Nalani, live right around the way. I wanted to place Nalani's clothes with the right women to take care of them.
Right.
So Candace had a friend, Aziza, and she runs a woman's shelter. Perfect. Because to have nice stuff, to have all of this. So I remember when Aziza came over and Candace, and they're going through everything, and Aziza, I started tearing up. I said, hey, what's going on? I said, I can tell Nalani was a good soul because her clothes are so good. and she could get some stuff for her. Clearly she was thinking about the women who she helps get back on track with nice suits and blouses and skirts and certainly shoes. So there was plenty of that. So wonderful. The Candace, Aziza would come over. We would have these different sessions. Yeah. Multiple sessions of clothes going in and out. Are they making some back there?
Yeah.
I mean, the clothes just kept, and shoes, there were more and more. What was your
experience? I mean, I think it was very much the same. So, I mean, the reason it started for me was because her, again, family came into town to help, and, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. My sister-in-law, we had decided to do a cremation. And my sister-in-law was looking for outfits for her, right? Because we were going to do a viewing ahead of the cremation for the family. And that was, so she went in and she's looking for stuff and she pulls out some outfits. But in the process, I'm going in, and it was daunting. Like that was like, I initially, like when you give somebody a task, but you go in initially like, let me see, maybe I can help with this task. And it's like, literally, it's like Nordstrom's just and wrapped around, and that also started the process of like, oh God, what am I going to do with this now? I mean, granted, we had that conversation prior to, like, okay, if anything happens, I want to donate my clothes to this charity, and which we did. But obviously, there's a part of it where like, well, before we do that, let me call in those close family, friends, and loved ones who would truly appreciate these reminders of her.
Did you put anything aside for daughters?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Did you let them go through it, or you chose? How did you do that?
So some of it, a little bit of both. Okay. Right. So some of it I put away, like, okay, so the Louis Vuitton bags and the Gucci bags and like the whole luxury bag section went in a bin for the girl, for Zion. And then there was like all of this other nostalgia items, all of these other things that Tahir would remember. Okay. Because they were further back in her history, things.
And his memory, he remembers her wearing
and then
those
the same
things
for and the same for Jackie. Like there was Jackie was a collector at the time, so there was trinkets and things like that they would all appreciate, and then jewelry. So those things, yes. But then there were like these other, I mean, Janice was barely 5 feet, right? So there's only but a handful of people who are going to fit all of that stuff. But that was a part of it. It was like pulling in all of that, and then over time. But I think the harder part was just, oh my gosh, like, and then even after everybody's gone through, you still have truckloads.
Yeah.
Right. Like you still have loads and loads of stuff. But I think that was just like a first step in this step forward of, you know, like M&M's in the back of my head, like cleaning out my closet, right? Right. Like, but that's the first step. And I think in that process, and it's a step where you're like, I have to maybe find an outfit to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Right. To this person. And what's the outfit that's going to represent that for the family, and what's the thing. But then in that process, you're seeing all of these other things that you want them to find the right home. Right. In the family, right?
So did you have people come in and choose things? Did they talk about that experience of how difficult it might be for them?
Yeah, some of them couldn't do it.
It was kind of like was it like a museum for them almost at that point?
It was definitely like people definitely went down memory lane.
Okay.
Right. Like, there was those moments of joy for people, and then moments of sadness for people. And then this is the week or so up to her service, right? And so you have family members, you know, my mother was here, so then I want her, like my mother loves scarves, right? So I was like, hey mom, like here's some scarves. Do you want to? And then the same thing, but and some people it was easy to do, and some people it was more difficult. And I think that's where the challenge comes in, because then one, everybody's going to keep telling you these stories. Right. So then that's the point where you're like,
I'm trying to.
That's the point where for me, I was like, go ahead. Go ahead, do your thing. Just don't touch that section.
Right.
That section's for the girls. That section's for tight hair. Yeah. No. You're right. And, you know, they would kind of come back out.
Play a little music for them. It's like, hey, you put in the music, do what you need to do. Get your playlist going, go through it. You know?
So that was a part where it's, I think that was a good first step.
Yeah.
In that direction of this celebration, but also, I've got to empty these closets.
Yeah.
Right. And part of it is like the urgency. I got all the family here.
Right.
Right. They're all here visiting. They're all here in town. They're all here. Hope they made space in their luggage, because some of this stuff is going to go. And I think that's part of it.
Yeah. Because it's also a careful balance for you and for anyone going through this really is, how do I balance respecting who is here and then moving on myself as well.
Yes.
They are going to need that time to maybe talk about, man, I remember when we went to the club, or whatever the experience is triggered by whatever that item is in the stories. And so you had to find that careful balance for sure. The thing I do remember for me in removing and placing the clothes with care with different people is saving for my girls.
Yes.
So my youngest, she likes handbags for sure. And then also, so I put those aside, nice stuff, you know, whatever. And then for my oldest, who is growing quickly, all the sneakers and stuff like that, my oldest could wear or would be able to wear that size that Nalani had. And then quickly, my daughter's 15 now, she's 2-3 sizes bigger than Nalani in that sense. But leather jackets and scarves that Nalani liked to wear, I saved those. I saved specific dresses, business dresses in the closet up here in our attic studio, as I told you guys, that maybe one day Miella will wear.
Right.
I don't know how I'm going to feel about it then, man. You know, that's the thing. But we did take pictures. I had him do like a photo shoot, you know, in the leather jacket, in the bags and such and all that. But I wanted to be intentional and purposeful. Remember your mom in this way.
Right.
Remember how much style, how she wanted to look, sound, act in a way that helps you move on in life as well. Because she's modeling it for y'all. Right. So I wanted to continue that process.
Yeah, I think that was important for me too. Like, as much as my personal memories were not all amazing, and as much as, you know, like her life, you know, she was married before, so she had a whole life prior to me.
Right.
Right. So then there's this element of like, well, like this, I've got to hold on to these memories as well for Tahir. Right. And you know, the other members in her family, as much as kind of bridge my part of my life with her. But not all of it is memories that are easy for me to sift through during certain periods. And I think that was the part where during this process, my grief became complicated, right? There's complicated grief, which is, you know, you struggle to kind of move past the phases and get through the grief process. But then, and this is a conversation I've had with my own therapist, my grief in and itself was complicated because the marriage was so complicated.
Right.
And because when you have that lens 6 months, a year out, that reality check that this person probably won't be here, there are things and conversations that you wish you are able to have that you may not end up having, right? And then you're like, man, I wish we'd had the opportunity to say this to each other. I wish whatever, right? So I think that was the part for me that as I started kind of going into the planning process for her ceremony, and you know, for everything, it was like, I've got to be able to pull myself away from this a little bit so that I focus on the right thing, right? And not...
I think you need to characterize again for those who haven't heard prior episodes, what you have told me. So say it again so they understand where you're going, and where you're coming from and where you're going.
Yes. I mean, the context, and David and I think, you know, we talked about it previously, like if cancer didn't kill her, the marriage would have. And I say that not in the sense that, you know, we were going to, you know, beat each other down to death.
It's not War of the Roses.
Sorry, like stress breeds stuff.
Yes.
Stress. I'm a believer that stress breeds sickness. So if you retain stress and you create stress and you foster stress, like over time, like it's going to present itself in different ways. It's going to present itself in hypertension, you know, high blood pressure, you know, all these other things, as well as cancer.
Yes.
So if it wasn't cancer, maybe it would have been something else for both of us. Right. The reality. So I think the logic that I had, or the approach that I took, was really focusing in for the family and for the kids on what Janice was and what Janice was for the family. And
so now we're talking about the service.
Yeah. And I think, or just the mentality, stepping up, even like stepping up into like, you know, the funeral home and kind of going in and having those conversations around the planning process. Like, one, it's a daunting task, right? Because it's a sales pitch for one, right?
It sure is.
I mean, I literally was having this conversation.
They're in the business to make money.
Yeah, they're there to make money.
For sure.
You know,
even in death.
Yeah, it's not a charity, right?
No.
So, I mean, I had this conversation with a friend the other day who lost their mother, and they were having the same conversation of like feeling almost guilted into certain levels of celebration.
The gold laden casket.
Yeah, like you want the gold version or the platinum trim, and I mean, if it was my mother, right, and now you feeling guilty, right? And so for me, like, you know, I knew that going into that conversation and having to do that, one, making sure somebody goes with you, right? So I think I made a couple calls by myself. I'd already asked my sister to like, hey, like my head's going to be all over the place this week. Can you just field the nonsense? Like all the other random stuff that's coming, I need you to field it. Yeah. I got to go take care of these funeral arrangements. And then the last minute, my dad actually said, hey, like, where are you going? I'll go with you. And I was just like, all right, cool. Thank you. And I didn't think about it at the moment, but we get there and, you know, I'm talking to the director and they're so accommodating. And so.
Do they have that very calming
voice?
Yes,
very, you know, I saw your information.
Okay.
Oh, she looked like a beautiful person and this and that. And like, yeah, thank you very much.
Right.
This must be so difficult. Yeah, thank you very much. They're saying the right things. They've done this a million times.
Oh, they're leading you.
Right. So they're like, so they sit me down and bring me water and would you like tea? And like, it's nice, beautiful room. Yeah. And after a while, then they get into like, they bring the books out, right? They start bringing catalogs, nicely binded catalogs,
right. Glossy
leather bound and
leather. Oh my goodness. And
you're like, okay. And so generally what family members, we usually make these rooms available to them. And which date are you thinking? And so I'll pause a little bit. I'll get to the date, but
okay.
So they're going back and forth, and I like burst their bubble real quick, right? And I'm like, she's being cremated.
Yeah.
Oh, you sure that's exactly? I'm like, she's always wanted to be cremated. And that was, I think, from the point like we were dating, she was just like, I'm not getting, I want to be cremated. And I want my ashes to be spread over a beach or whatever in the sea. And I'm like, all right, cool. So fast forward, didn't think we'd be doing it, but when the director is going through and they're like, oh, so cremation? Okay, all right. So I know in their head they're like, darn,
Yeah.
right.
Dang, the money's not gonna come in on this one.
Yeah, so then they're like, darn it, not the platinum bonded.
Keith, take the book.
Yeah, take this book. Let's get this book over here. So we go through that process but then they're still going through the process, and it's still like moments where they like ask about something, and I'm like, oh gosh.
So it's still kind of temperature check.
It's still temperature check.
Or wallet check. Yeah. Maybe still, to some degree.
Well, temperature check more and just like, wow, like I'm doing this? Like, this is crazy. Like, I am actually, like, I never thought about this.
Internally,
I'm thinking this, like, wow. And I think my dad is reading it, and he's like, can I have a minute? Can we have a minute? He looks at the director, and he's, can we have a minute? And he was like, you okay? You want to come back? And my dad is just checking in, and I'm like, no, I'm good. It's just, I didn't see this. Like, I didn't, you got to do this step,
right? But
you don't realize how it will come to you and how it will present itself. So,
and whether you will, going in and maybe have heard, man, they're going to try to get you on the platinum package and all that.
Yeah.
So how do I keep my emotions in check?
Yeah.
Because of what I am actually having to do. But then also this idea of, man, they're taking me to the cleaners on this as well.
Yeah. And it's two things. It's one, I am planning how an entire family wants to memorialize this woman. Right. And I had gotten feedback, and I had gotten input, and I asked the kids, and I asked the kids, and all three of them were like 7, 12, and 12. Mom wanted to be cremated. I'm like, okay, there you go. Consensus, right? And I always give Joan, her mother, I always gave Joan a vote. Like, okay, Joan, like, what do you think? And she wanted to be cremated. Ching! Nobody else gets right. But then everything else is these other things. Like, should we do a viewing? Should we do this? Should be in this room? Should be in that room? Should it be 20 people or 200? And I think those are the pieces where, like, there's this pressure to do it right.
Yeah. And it goes again in the category of, you're not going to please everybody.
Right.
You just can't.
Yeah, you can't. So that's the part for me. It was like, okay, well, how do I do this? And then it's like, okay, this is not cheap. This is not an inexpensive process, even with a cremation, right? And that part for me, like, resonated deeply because we had, like I said, we had a lot of death in the family in the last 2 years and the years prior to Jana's passing. So her father, my grandmother, now both, I mentioned her uncle had passed away a few days before she did. And then Tahir's grandfather passed away a few days after. So you've got, just all this death, all this loss. And I had seen people like be overextended trying to bury family. And then I'm thinking, like, wait, so we had to take a loan out or borrow money to do this? So, like, in death, we're giving debt. And to me, like, as I thought about legacy, we already didn't have, just because of financial challenges, and she wasn't working for the last few years, and, as she battled cancer, and, just overextending ourselves on other things that we shouldn't have been doing, which were often arguments that we had. Like, neither one of us had, like, the ideal life insurance, right? And that was where it was like, oh no, I'm gonna put my foot down on this, and I'm not gonna go crazy and because I don't want my kids.
Right.
I don't want my kids to look up, or me to look up after this ceremony and after all of this is said and done, and after we say our goodbyes, and then we got a monthly bill.
this is not a model of sound financial
No.
planning.
Right.
You all need to know this essentially by the actions y'all took.
Yeah, and
for your kids.
And they're you know, money is one of the top 5 things, 3 to 5 things that couples argue about and get divorced about.
Yeah. So
right. So
finances, fidelity, as far as
and family,
the F's,
right, the
and
F's.
Maybe fitness in
and
there
fitness,
too, because of health or whatever. So,
exactly. So that was for me. That was like very much like the process of getting to that. But those are all the things that were in the back of my mind during that process, right? And I had to be okay letting those things just exist.
Yeah.
And letting each one of them be okay, because I said to myself going into this, everybody will feel that they have the opportunity to honor Janice as best as they can. And I had already decided that because we were cremating her, I'd already decided we were going to do one service in Austin and one service in New Jersey, because she had a lot of family in Jersey and friends. And I knew that not all of them would be able to make it. And her home church was in Jersey. Okay. Right. The church that she had, been baptized or her Baptist church, her pastor, her home church, like that was the church that in an ideal world, like, it would have been Jersey, and that's where everything would have been taken. But because we had this life where half of it was built in Austin and then the other half was built in New Jersey or vice versa. Right. Like that was a part where it's like, okay, like we're going to do 2. Right. And that was also part of it. Like, I'm giving you guys a whole lot of opportunity to celebrate and honor this woman.
Right.
Cut me some slack.
Right.
Right. Like,
you either come to the one in Texas.
Right.
Or you come to the one in
Jersey. Right.
But understand she has 2.
Understand she's 2.
Okay.
Right. It's like the Pope.
You must have 1.
Yeah. It's like, exactly.
She has 2. So come to one or the other. Let the record show we had 2.
We had 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
so that was it. That was like, and a lot of it was also me thinking like, this is the final step for me before I truly plunge into this baptism, so to speak, of being a single father.
Another rite of passage.
Right? Like, this is it. Like, this is the one where after this, I imagine like, you in the world where there's a casket, right? And there's a person walking down, they walk, the pallbearers are walking out with the casket. There's also this person following behind who is now by themselves. Right. And they are by themselves, and they walk through that exit. And
the procession
out,
church,
and that exit is you're on your own.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how I actually visualized it like that. That's how I thought about it during the planning process. Like, when all of this is over, when all the bells and whistles and everybody goes home, like, this is it. And the door closes, like all of the slow motion videos that go with that imagery. It's just me and the kids.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how I thought about like the whole process and planning. But
do you want to get into the service there?
Yeah, I mean, it was
one of 2.
One of 2. I'm gonna condense it because I think that the theme was memories. Right, the theme of it was memories, and in the first one, we did a eulogy. And I let the kids write the eulogy. So it was basically who Janice was from the children's perspective. And Zaya wrote 7 years old. She wrote about her mom. Jackie wrote 12 years old about her mom. And then Tahir wrote a portion of it.
Not a dry eye in the house.
Yeah, none. And they all 3 of them did a great job of being authentically who they believe their mother was, and I didn't. Right, like I helped to tighten it in the sense of the flow and but Tahir read it at the service, and that for me was allowing them to speak to this family and these friends on behalf of our family about who she was. And there was a part of it where that was Janice's first and primary responsibility. And that was her. She never lied about it. Right. Throughout our entire marriage, like we would always talk about who's priority, and she was like, my kids are priority. Yeah. Right. And okay, that's nice. You don't have to say that like that. Right. Like,
it cuts me out completely.
Right.
I don't have a chance.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that was who she was. So I felt it was only right for that to be the narrative. And, while we're there, it's like this big, beautiful, hall that they had set up for us. And, oh man, I mean, it was crazy. We had family and friends and coworkers who dated back. Some came from Jersey, some were, from 15, like the time that we moved to Austin, all the way coworkers who we worked for, like a whole bunch. It was amazing who was there. All my boys were there, which was great to me because I needed them, like that bond, that support. Yeah. My family, my parents, my sister, like, and everybody. And that was such a huge part of my core. Right. My girl, Hillary, who she's going to be mad at me for shouting her out, but she got diagnosed with breast cancer literally the day I was calling her to tell her that Janice probably was going to be going in hospice. Hillary was calling me to tell her. Like, we played phone tag that day. She was calling me to tell me that she had got diagnosed. So she was there with her husband. Like, so you like this emotional element of support was there. Plus coworkers, my team who I worked with at my company, they were all there, including Jordan, who, at the time we were very close friends. I mean, like that was like my work family, my extended support system. I think Jordan had actually coordinated like the food train with, I think with my sister-in-law. Okay. But anyway, so like fast forward, it was like all of this community and all of this support system in place that was there and present. And I kept thinking back to like, yeah, Janice, they're all here. Like what you worried about a year ago, like they're all here, right? Like they all came, they all showed up, right? Exactly the way that we wanted them to show up, that you needed them to show up. Exactly. Even as a follow-on to like how they showed up. Many of them showed up while she was passing. Yeah. So that part was great. My best friend Randy, one of my best friends, Randy's, he also did a speech, and Randy's, you met him. He's got a way of adding this weird sense of humor to like the most serious moment. Right. And then like you find yourself in tears, and maybe he's in tears, and like you're like, wow, like this all came together sometime. I lie to you not, like when Randy gets up to speak, 90% of the time I'm kind of nervous, but he always pulls it together, and he did a great job of pulling that together for and he spoke to the kids, and he spoke to the kids on a high bar that we will hold them to, because that's the bar that not only did I have of them, but their mom had of them, right? So like you've got this family of support, this community of support, extended family, friends, cousins, pretend uncles and pretend aunties, as we say, right? All there to support these kids. And that was the thing that was important for me, that the kids felt like their mom was gone, but the way they will be loved and supported will still be present through the community.
That won't diminish.
It won't diminish, right.
It will increase because people love them. Yeah, right. And they loved the woman who was their mother.
Right. And then my friend Pete, amazing trumpet player, Pete Rodriguez. That's my shout out, Pete. He is on Spotify too. He comes from a family. His father was a famous musician as well. So Pete wrote an original song for her because they had become very close to us in the prior 2 years, particularly because their kids, Zaya and their daughter, were about less than a year apart. So the two girls just bonded, and they were like a massive support system for us throughout, right? Even to this day. So he played and did a beautiful piece, and it was just overall, I think, without the burial, without the process. Like, you saw so much family there, and you have these images of all these pictures dating back to when she was a teenager.
She had screens up.
Screens, yeah. There was probably like 5 or 6 screens up throughout the place that the funeral home had set up on the walls that, you know, were just like rotating, and all the family and friends had sent in pictures. Probably had like a couple hundred pictures just flowing throughout the same.
You had a team to help you for the service, people making certain decisions. Hey, these pictures, that
my sister
maybe
and then
final
her
approval
sister.
or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it was more like a community. There was some that we just kind of went through afterwards and be like, yeah, no, not this. But for the most part, it was kind of like the memory dump, right? A lot of family pictures, and I think that was the biggest thing, was that just about everybody who was there got to see themselves in her life, right, during that time. But mostly the kids, right? Mostly the kids being able to see their memories and see their mom with all these people who are still around them, who will still be in, you know, their network of support. And that was it for me, like really building that comfort for the kids as much as it was respecting and honoring her life, right? That final process of honoring her life with these memories that the kids could hold on to, these memories that the kids may not know, but they can see, like, okay, these are all these faces, and these are why these people are here. And this will be an extension of like the support that I have. And I think that was it. Like, that was the way that I felt it necessary and was appropriate to honor her.
Even when moving on with you in the rite of passage, as we just talked about, where there had to have been memories that you latched on and smiled or tears. So it's still the balance of both for you, right? It's this was difficult. We know how it was, but I'm seeing all the good that came from. Oh,
absolutely.
Like, I mean, characterize. I don't want to.
I mean, you definitely grab. You're definitely like, and that's the part where it's like you have a marriage that it's a difficult marriage, right? Whether you're fighting to keep it together, or you've made the decision that like divorce is the route you need to go, or you don't. In my case, you don't go to the divorce route.
Right.
You fight for life, and then, you know, there's a loss of life, right? And that's how you end your marriage. But it doesn't take away the fact that there were a lot of uncomfortable memories.
Sure.
But there was a lot of good memories, and I have to respect that. You know what? There were good memories. Right. Was it enough at the end of the day, or was it enough at some point in time that we both were like, it's not enough? Yes. That's definitely a reality. Yeah. Right. That at some point in time, we both were like, this isn't enough. Right. But there's still good memories in that. And those have to be part of the story and the celebration of life, because I think they also is what allow you to say, hey, this was an important part of my life.
A significant
part of my life. Right. But it had its difficulties. It had its challenges. It wasn't without struggle. But I can at least say thank you for what I got out of it.
It shaped who you are.
It shaped who I am, for sure.
To that point, and who you would become.
Oh,
as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And right, and we'll I think those are how you start the process forward. But I think, so fast forward like that, we kind of did the same thing in Jersey. And we had different faces, but almost the same.
Okay.
Right. Different faces. And now there was like more context. And you had some people who came to both. Right. So they were able to kind of be part of that experience twice. And I think that's where, you know, the kids got to see like this overwhelming amount of love and support for their mom. But they also had 2 opportunities to really kind of let this sink in. Yeah. Right. Obviously, through the process, like I said, it was like other family members who had passed, and we're trying to negotiate days, and I've got my kids about to start school. There's tension because we literally had Uncle Ken's service in Atlanta on Saturday, which I didn't go to, but then we had Janice is the Sunday.
Wow.
So you literally had
back to back,
and family members were not happy about it, but they still hopped on planes.
Yeah.
Right. And they made both. Right. And that was also part of that process of, the moving forward is I'm doing what I want to do, what I need to do for my kids.
Right.
For me and my kids. We're not dragging this out. I'm not bending on certain things. I'm going to be inflexible on others, but that's just.
And to a great extent, Janice would agree to.
Yeah. Right.
Because you're carrying on this idea of support. The focus is them.
Right.
Let's continue this on, preserve memories, move forward, because the journey has stopped for her. Yeah. But it hasn't for the children and you and moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, and that was probably the most difficult, or one of the most challenging parts, was just kind of navigating some of these other new family dynamics or family. It's like you don't want to create tension with this family support system that you're going to need.
Exactly.
Right. In the future.
And so important, the connection that continues with those children, which I know you have done. Right. I see it because I'm with you. Right. And I've been invited to different events, birthday parties, other milestones where it's, okay, I see how important Janice's mother is and always will be, and the respect that you all have, even your wife.
Right. Oh yeah.
Even Jordan understands, because Jordan comes from good family in that sense too.
Yeah. Like
and understand. Yeah.
And in many cases, and all of them, the ones who are key core. Yeah. Are key and core to our family. They have embraced, they've embraced my approach. Right. But they've also embraced Jordan. Right. Right. And our daughter Simona, right. and knowing that, you might not be happy or love the fact that this is how the pages turned and how forward looked. But that woman is helping to raise your cousin's daughter, or your daughter, your sister's daughter, or your friend's, children, like whatever, right? Whatever context like that has to be.
And it reminds me what my auntie Mabel says. We call her the Duchess. You can't live in the grave. Right. Right. You have to move forward. Yep. Yep. And this is what moving forward looks like. Yep. Yeah.
So that was the whole kind of thing for me, was, again, honoring her as best as I could, but mostly with the thought of being able to honor her the way that the children would have needed her to be honored, right? And what they would have wanted to see. So really kind of stepping back and looking at it from her lens. Like I didn't even speak at the funeral. Right. Right. I chose not to. I was like, this is not about me. This is about.
It's not controversial.
Yeah. It's about the children and them having a voice and them feeling this love. I'm a grown ass man. I will hopefully I'll figure out how to find a way. Yeah. Right. I'm understanding it. I'm looking out forward and saying like, oh shit, this is going to be scary, but I can do it. Right. Right. I have to. So that was kind of where my head was at. So for you, I think you guys had, like a whole party.
I mean, here's where we're going to start talking about cultural differences.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, and this is not about one celebrating in one way. It's more respectful, reverent, whatever. It's how different people honor and celebrate the person who has passed. Yeah. So it's not about one is better than the other. It's just how folk do it differently that makes sense for who that person is, how you were raised, whatever. Yeah. But this is the point where we are definitely going to talk about cultural differences. Oh, yeah. Now, hey, man, I brought my notes. Yeah. Because it was a blur. I mean, for you too. You
Oh,
know,
yeah, yeah.
There's a lot you remember from the ceremony, but there's a lot you didn't because there were other people, conversations, and different things happening at the repast.
Family drama you're trying to ignore and all of that.
You don't have time for it then. Folk will work it out or whatever the case would be. So, man, we in particular, particularly with the obituary, we brought a team together, as I mentioned. So a lot of the play aunties and friends of Nalani from different periods in her life, going to those who went to school with her, running the streets of New York and Brooklyn in a good way, obviously, and professional life and what have you. Everybody was kind of represented in the same way that you talked about at the two services that Janice had, the celebration for her. So we want to make sure the obituary in particular wasn't a resume.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you were this title, that, the other. No, we wanted folk to understand the interconnectedness Nalani had with all of these different people. As I've said before, meeting them where everyone is.
Yeah.
That's how she lived her life. And we wanted everyone to have a real sense of who she was coming in and going out. The whole ceremony. Yeah. So, brother, you know.
Oh, yeah, he got props.
Hey, man.
Yeah, he came with the props.
This is serious right here. So what's funny is, I don't know if you guys can see it really well, but the funeral home, we have a program and you can use this. We use
that one. Yeah.
I was like, no. We got it. Because the team, I mean, look, come on now. This is serious stuff right here. So I bring it just to show how much we wanted to chronicle and respect who she was and the involvement from all of the people. Yeah. And we had capable people in that team who could do all of these different things. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, sure. Yeah. One who, see, there you go. Someone who could do the layout and make sure we edit and put it in such a way that the pictures stood out and everything was respectful in this way. So what I remember in particular, so we're putting this together. Yeah. And here I'll take it because I want to make sure I hit certain highlights as it relates to this. So what I remember, because, you know, there had to be music. There had to be just this sense of, well, this is how we celebrate people in our family. Right. Or this is the tradition of how we have been to church growing up and throughout life, and that we wanted that to absolutely resonate with different people. And it's just about celebration. Right. That's what we wanted people to understand. This is how with the experience should feel all together for everybody. We wanted that very clear, very communal, very, very clear on that. So, music, as I said. Remember I told you about my neighbor, Candace?
Oh, yeah. The one who went, who
So Candace Anderson, fabulous singer, is what I come to know. She came to me. She lived in my building. David, I wonder if I could sing at the service. Now, when people ask if they
can I play an instrument or
and
can
do
I
something,
sing a song?
you go,
like,
wait a minute.
What's your resume?
I may need a tape. Or you have video?
Can I have your demo tape?
Right. Do you have live performance from me? I'll get back to the team and get back to you. But Candace said, and here's the thing: when people ask you again if they can contribute and sing, people can either sing or they can sing. Right. Okay. Right. And so, turns out, Candace is Lauryn Hill's backup singer. Wow. Okay? So, she can sing. Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's a good look.
Yeah. And she said, oh, yeah, I'll have some selection for you. You can look over them and listen to them. I said, oh, okay. I trust you. Because I know she can sing. Yeah. I know that. All right. Nice. So, we had Candace in there, and we had other people featured. So, we had pretty standard program as it relates to this is Baptist church. And so certainly a processional and all that you have, and great music and organist doing his thing and all of that. And
that's what we had for our second one.
you did? Okay.
Yeah, the
okay.
second one was a Baptist church.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And the organist did a, hymn of comfort and did Amazing Grace and, I mean, like slow and that's how you do it. There's no other way to it. You just, I mean, like you gotta, all right.
Yeah.
So he's doing his thing and
we got props and singing today. I like it.
yeah. So I don't know how that sounds, but that's just who I am. So then we had the word,
right.
Ministry of Word. So we asked my friend, Russell Hornsby, well-known actor. He's in BMF.
Yeah.
He did the August Wilson American Century Cycles. Okay. He was in Fences with Viola Davis and Denzel Washington and others. He was in The Hate You Give. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's a name you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he gets up, does a Old Testament. Folk just, oh my God.
Tears.
And just amen and folks standing. I mean, my goodness.
Nice.
It was just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he then did his thing, gave me a little wink, sat down. He did everything I wanted and Nalani wanted.
Yeah.
And then after that, we talked about our executive producer, Marlon Jackson.
Yeah.
And so he had followed with another piece
Nice.
of
with
the
his
word.
deep voice. Yeah. So you go from Russell.
Go to Russell to Marlon.
To Marlon's
and so Marlon gets up and he's walking up and he says to me, "Oh, Dave, I have to follow him, huh?"
Yeah.
Everybody's laughing. You need that. You need that in this. Marlon, great voice, presence, did his thing.
Right.
It was beautiful. So, Candace, certainly she was up there and she was doing so much as it related to the singing and ripped the church in half.
So where are you in this moment? Like, where is your head? Are you in the process of grieving, or are you in the process of kind of celebrating?
I think it's a little of both.
Okay.
And this is a good question because I walked in not knowing who I was going to be on that day. Because I'm thinking about the girls.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about different parents.
Yeah.
Because folk did fall out where they had to have attention and things like that.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
that happened.
Yeah.
Not only because of the gravity of the situation, but also levity in the sense of celebration and fun. We're there to celebrate.
Right.
The music, the word, all of that.
Yeah.
So I didn't know where I was, Jamal. And a lot of it is a blur. But there are many things that I remember.
And that's okay.
And that's
right,
okay.
because your head is literally on. I'm with you as in the sense that your attention to the girls, because I'm sure with every speech and everything and every song, you're like, where are the girls? What are they doing?
Exactly.
How are they reacting?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I brought 2 handkerchiefs, okay?
Yeah.
Because I knew the music was going to get me. If the service didn't get me and the eulogy and everything else, I knew the music would get me. That's what.
Yeah.
So I brought 2 handkerchiefs and they got used.
Yeah.
Okay. So, she got up, as I said, she really killed it. And I mean, her voice was so stirring that even those who didn't have any denomination, didn't go to church, when in the church, when the pastor talks about come down for the invitation to accept God, even those who did not believe,
right?
I think they wanted to walk down the aisle and had to catch themselves.
She sang it into everybody.
She killed it. I mean, it's just incredible.
That's good.
She just has that kind of voice. So it was very much that, and we had to really think about who was going to speak during the service. So it was about the different people in her lives, different points. So an aunt, so Elaine, and then one of Nalani's fantastic friends, Kim, she also spoke, and then another family, her cousin, who was like her sister, Gail, and all just held it together.
Yeah.
And as funny as one will turn, everyone has a time.
Yes.
That they're unto which they can speak or a certain amount of time and say, I'm going to take 5 minutes. So they just let them know in the event, I'm going to be a minute, you know? So that, which was really, really kind of funny.
That's good.
And, you know, everybody just dressed, man. This is, because that's how Nalani did it. And so folks look good. And everybody from my work colleagues, current and past, just wonderful.
So I think the irony in our stories is both of our late wives passed in August. Right?
Yeah.
So I remember it being hot and because we were in Texas.
Oh, okay.
It was hot.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I'm
and
sure.
in the church.
And in the church. Yeah. Right. So, we did the funeral. It was nicely air conditioned.
Okay.
But outside it was hot.
Okay.
And I remember it being equally hot. So I'm sure like just the whole context of you're in a church in New York, or New Jersey or New York?
New Jersey. Yeah.
You know, dealing with that heat, but then the emotions are there, presenting themselves as well. So yeah, it's
definitely all of that. So what I remember too is the eulogy and the pastor, Will Lee, someone we've known a long time, followed him from different churches, and he started a church in Jersey, and funny guy, relatable in every way, particularly the sermon. And what I remember is during that time, Queen Elizabeth had passed.
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
And the way he conducted the eulogy is, Dave, I'm speaking to you and to your girls. I'm just speaking to you and to your girls. And his own memories, because he had a very close relationship with Nalani as well. She was very much involved in the church. And wonderful things he said to the girls and to me. And then what I remember, he said, we know about Queen Elizabeth. We know about her passing, and people, rightfully so, lining up to see her procession. Miles of roads and people lying on both sides. How well did they actually know her? The queen you know.
Yeah.
This one right here.
Yeah.
That's the queen you know. You all have your own stories about your connection to her, things that she did for you. It was beautiful, man.
Wow.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And I again, cultural differences. My friends from work, all backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's religious, whether it's ethnic, whatever the case may be. And I asked them as we were doing this podcast, doing this episode, what do you remember about the service? Because a lot of it I don't remember. Although the celebration was tight and it was everything that we would want it to be. And I asked them to text me a little bit about their experience. So look, I want to have my notes because they said beautiful things. So my dear friend Dawn, oh man. She said, certainly, it was the most honoring funeral ever. The extensive written program, how the speakers and pastor addressed the girls directly, and the music both allowed you to ponder and have a spiritual moment. I could go on, but you did that 100% right. I honestly tell people about Nalani's service all the time. Please play a mine.
Right.
I mean, and then my co-worker and good friend Joe and his wife Colette said, I really felt it when the speakers addressed the girls. You could really feel how much people wanted to support them and be there for them. Nalani's celebration of life truly felt like a celebration of who she is. It was incredibly touching and thoughtful. Joe says, when I reflect upon the service, I feel warmth and power. The kind of power that overwhelms but feels safe. Perhaps how we have all felt at one time when being held close by a parent or grandparent as a young child. In the sanctuary that day, I heard, saw, and breathed in the human spirit. We all shared something that was cathartic because it was in union.
Right.
You created a community. We should all be so lucky to have those we leave behind create something so beautiful in our name. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we also talked about, you and I, in kind of getting into this episode about who came, who didn't.
Right.
You had friends who had two opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah.
You either hit Texas or you hit Jersey.
Right.
Which one you want to go to or both?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I'll say this. The deep respect, loyalty, love of my family, particularly from my mother and her friends from the 50s and 60s. One woman in particular, she's a devout Orthodox Jewish woman. They can't do anything related to innovation on Saturdays, the Sabbath. They have to observe the Sabbath. And she took multiple trains from New York City and whatever car. You can't do anything electrical or modern if you are observant in that way. But she said, oh, of course. There's no I wouldn't be there to support Pamela.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I just knew we did all that we needed to for that service. We covered all the bases in there.
And
then we had the
key
repast. And then we had the repast.
Yeah.
And my dear, basically sister, April, she couldn't go to the service. It was too much for her. If you recall in a past episode, she was also one, I think I had mentioned that she was at the hospital. Yeah. That the last time Nalani said to her, I'm not leaving this hospital. I know it. Yeah. And April just coordinated everything. Everything. The food was fantastic because the team kind of, we all kind of, hey, are we doing key lime? Oh, absolutely. Nalani loves key lime. We having key lime pie. And just good food for kids. It had a kids room and all the other, and it was at a museum, a space that was near us. Okay. Yeah. And oh man, just April coordinating everything and just the love and making sure I'm okay. Yeah. And all of that. And then what's so interesting is after the repast, we just went to this spot down the street that we tend to go to, and all those same people, my friends, my man Dave. Yeah. Dave Fehlberg, fantastic violinist, conductor. He has his own different organizations, musical. He just flew in, man. Yeah. Just for that. I mean, just the friendship. Yeah. These people. My man, my best friend, Sheldon Jordan. I mean, everybody came through.
That's the thing.
MacGyver. Oh, man.
Yeah. And it's funny, as you were talking about the words of your pastor, but then also the words from some of your friends. Yes. Like I remember I went back and was trying to flip through pictures and kind of like jog my memory, so to speak, right? But there was one thing that I do remember, Randy's speech. And again, like I mentioned, it was very much addressed to the kids. But at the end, and this ties to why us, right? And why we were chosen for these particular battles, right? And why you listening may have been chosen for this particular battle, right? Yeah. One of the things Randy talked about as he kind of wrapped up his speech, I remember talking about acknowledging the difficulties that we had faced in life, right? But Randy knows just about as well, if not more than anybody else, like the challenge of our marriage. But he had said, you may be asking yourself why in so many words, but he said, it's because you were built for that. You were built for this. This is what this family needed you for in this period of time, in this time period. And I don't think that as people, kind of talk to us after the service, or it's like, again, it's like, I'm so sorry and I'm sorry for your loss. And, mostly the right words that day, mostly just hugs. But I think the one thing that is the takeaway is that we were built for these battles, right? We were put in these places, regardless of what our faith, the depth of our faith and the depth of your faith is, right? The reason when you ask yourself, why me, it's not for you to per se know that right away. There's days that I wonder why me still, right? But who else? Right. And now I can look at myself and say, like, yeah, I was strong enough to do that. And as we think about, like, yeah, how do we go forward from the service and then go forward from the, you know, from the repast and the families gathering at the houses, you know, at our houses and everything. I think it is our ability to look at all of these people who we were able to keep in the game with us while these women fought these battles and while we had to be so focused on so many other things, our kids holding the house down, keeping everybody who's, you know, together, you know, who needed to be together during this period of time. And I think that's something that I think about. Like, that's something as we think about, like, how do we take this step forward? What does this next step look like? Yeah. It is that. It is the realization, maybe not in that moment, that, yeah, you are strong enough to take that first step. You are strong enough to continue carrying this forward, right? Even with the tears and the sadness and the celebration and the laughter and the joy and the beautiful songs and music and this, you know, the best way we could honor, you know, these women on behalf of our families. Yeah. Right. Like, even with that, like, now it's also like, yeah, like, now we've got to be able to take this and take all this energy and momentum, right, and take that forward. And I think that's also something that, right, you have to kind of lean into on it too.
As the people we're speaking to will be able to do as well. You will rise to that moment. It will be difficult. Yeah. There's no question about that. Yeah. Lean on the people who have been there for decades in many ways, for many people, because they're going to get you through. Yeah. And they may not always be there, because then we'll talk later about, then you get into the routine of life. People go back to their routine. They have their own families. They have their own challenges. They have their own dysfunction and or just harmony that they have to find. And that's how it is. Yeah. And balancing work and all the other things. But yeah.
You know, I think we also think about all of the random things that you think about, all of those things that you get stuck. Oh, don't cry too loud. Don't make too much noise. And I think that's the part where, like, there's no protocol. Right. I think we back to, like, should it be a burial? Should it be cremation? Right. Where do you spread the ashes? Where do you do this? Where, like, so much of it is, like, not getting caught in all of these formalities, and really just taking the time to step back and say, how is the best way for my family and friends to honor or to celebrate and show respect as best as they can to this person, but also come together in what is realistically the final gesture of true support. That's the reality of it. Like, these, whether it's 200, 500, 50 people, like, this is a good chance that this is the last time you're seeing all these people together like this. Right. And that part is, like, where, like, okay, like, you're bringing everybody together.
A meaningful reunion
for, like, this final goodbye. Yeah. But also for this final cast off for you, or for you as a widower, or for you as a single dad now, or not, right? Maybe you don't have children. It's just for you by yourself, right? Like, this final gesture that everybody's casting and bringing you kind of to this page. But yeah, I don't say things, there's wrong ways. Sure. Right. But I think there's right ways, and then there's the way that just feels natural and organic to your community.
And you're going to have people who are going to check you on things that you trust.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's okay to listen and decide this decision's fine. Let that other person make that decision. Because it's all be fine, because they're doing it out of love too.
Right. Right.
So we shouldn't beat ourselves up, because no one wants to grieve and plan. It's tough. And then it all to come out looking right. So, but that's kind of where it is. Yeah. So any kind of little nuggets here as far as we go out here about the funeral planning and some of the other aspects?
I think the most important, I think the two things that were under, I didn't really appreciate it until after everything, like after everything was done, was, I think my sister-in-law, my sister, and in particular my parents. And I think they really did a great job of like being able to just check in with me and say, and they're grieving, right? It's not like they're not grieving. They're grieving, right, as well. But being able to kind of check in with me, and in some cases, like I had the long list of things that needed to be done. But then in the moment you asked me what I needed to be done, I'm like, I don't know. Right. And they were like, don't worry about it. Like, do you need me to do this? Do you need me to do this? How about this? And accepting the help and be like, yes, please do. Right. Yes, please do. I think that was one thing, just being able to like offload things. My dad, I love him to death. He was very much like, I got the kids. Let me go get the kids, check the kids. But he would check in with me. And my mom as well. They would both just check in with me and be like, are you okay? Did you eat? Yeah. Right. It's almost like I would, it's like you just have somebody just like focused on one thing. Right. And I think that was important, just being able to kind of like cascade this stuff out. And there are times that I'm walking around and I'd be like, oh, shoot, I didn't eat today. And my mother would be like, I got you. Right. I think that's important. Not to just, to not push people away. Yeah. And then I think whether you make it something small or something big, or whether it's a lot of people, I think just have people help to organize. I think you did a great job of making sure you had like a good group of people to like execute and plan. And I feel like I had the same thing. I think the more you don't do that, the more stressed it is going to be for you, and you're not going to be able to be present for the most important people in your life at that moment. Yeah. At point in time.
Do your best to plan with the people who are capable. Yeah. 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 And even after all of that too, it's, man, Nolani's job, wonderful people. Continue to stay in touch. Anything we can do. They loved her. Yeah. Beyond that, she was the colleague of theirs for all those years. It was a true affection, admiration, mutually. Yeah. I think so her job in particular, even after and another episode, we'll talk about paperwork and everything else, but fantastic, always there. Yeah. So accept those calls, accept those texts, because it daunting, I'll use a word you used earlier about a lot of the calls and texts and such that come in for a while, but you welcome them. You have to see it for what it is there. Yep. So accept that kind of support in that way. And there are also, Jamal, we had talked about grief groups and such.
Oh yeah. There? Yeah. I think definitely tapping into whatever faith system that you have. I know for me, and that was one of the things that also drove us to decide to do the second service in New Jersey, because that was key part of the faith system for us, right? As long as we were in Austin, we can never find it was never replicated. Okay. But that was an important part. It was like being able to lean to the faith system, being able to tap into like your counselor, like get there. Like my therapist was on speed dial at that point in time. Like I would just call her and be like, I'm pissed off at this, and I think she allowed me to say, you have to be okay letting these emotions, good or bad, just flow in and out. Right. I think that's part of it. Like having like a support group, to your point, a therapist a faith system, and then your friends,
Yeah.
right? Your friends, your family, those people who,
Yeah.
who have been through this whole journey with you. Don't shut them out.
Know you best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
but yeah, I think the last piece is really just taking this opportunity to say goodbye. I think the grief process continues after this in its different phases, especially when you have children. You continue to see the children go through it, and it's a reminder that this is still real. But I think you've got to be okay just accepting that this is the moment where you actually say goodbye and start that process of truly moving forward. Like, you've kind of been going through the motions through this point, and now it's, you know, kind of back to that image of like everybody leaving and the door closes, right? Like, and it's you and the kids in the room, or you and this tight knit family that you have in the room. And I think it's more of it's a celebration as much as it's a rite of passage and a graduation. You know, and as whether or not you want to celebrate the graduation, right? It still is that.
Yeah.
So
Everybody's moving on. It's the book isn't closed. It's another page. It's
Right.
another chapter.
right.
And you still have to continue to write that.
Yeah.
So for the people in your household, people around you, the folks who are celebrating your late wife or husband as well. We're talking about both situations, widow and widowers.
Yeah, exactly.
So certainly that's it. Yeah.
So thank you again for joining us on Getting Back Up, Finding Life After Death. Make sure you subscribe, like, share us,
All of that.
Tweet us, X us, whatever.
I mean,
the things.
If there's something you heard today, please pass it on to others, and also talk back to us. All of the different socials that we have. Building a community is really what we want to do, because as we talked about before, this is all going to happen. Just the idea of loss is going to happen to all of us. And if we can create a community where we can all talk about it a little bit more openly, the way we do all the things that we treasure in life, this is another something that we treasure. The person who has brought us to this point in our lives, and then we move forward. So we want to hear from you all, and so that we can work together, figure out some things, because we all get to this point, and it gets better.
It does.
It gets better.
It does.
So
thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you for joining us on Getting Back Up, Finding Life After Death. If something in today's episode spoke to you, pass it on, because somebody out there needs to hear this.
For sure. We're on all the social mausoleums, so follow us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok. Mostly it will be in the form of Get Back Up Podcast.
And be sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcast.
And remember, getting knocked down is part of life.
But getting back up is how we live.
We'll see y'all next time.